Hello, I'm Ed.
And I'm Ken.
And welcome to Lumbridge. Hello, and welcome to today's second part in talking about free-to-play areas and some of the key notes that each one has to offer. Kenny, if you wanted to start us off today.
Well, yes. Today we got Falador and Varrock. Last episode we had talked about Lumbridge, a bit of Draenor Village, and I think we even mentioned Elcarid as well, some of the entry area levels. Probably places you're going to be dabbling around a lot more in the early levels. Same with today, Falador and Varrock, probably the two other most popular areas besides Lumbridge. Definitely a lot to go about, definitely a lot to talk about.
Oh, and don't forget the smaller areas that are nearby, like Barbarian Village and Edgeville. Barbarian Village is definitely a huge one to consider just because of the stronghold of security.
They also have the fishing node just south of Edgeville on the river.
A lot of power fishers there.
I don't know. To me, Barbarian Village, I always considered to be part of Varrock just because it's so close. I mean, aside from the security dungeon, there's really nothing.
I remember training there, range, back before old school came in. I would go to Barbarian Village, sit in the main grand hall, and sit across from barbarians as I shot them with arrows, and if I ever got hit by them, I'd just run up, grab a few steaks, eat them, drink a beer or two, and then go back to my corner and start shooting them again.
That's a nice area because it's just so easy. You
Low
don't got to
levels.
worry about anything. And like you said, you have all the cooked meat and beer you can drink. I don't know, the Stronghold, definitely one of the things you want to do when you first make the account. I mean, you don't really need anything. Maybe a bit of food, full run energy, just run through the entire dungeon.
At the end, you end up coming out with about 10k coins, which is super nice starting cash, and the fighting or fancy boots, best boots for free to play.
Best in slot. You got to go with the rainbow boots if you know what's good, though.
Fancy boots are best boots. I used to be one of those plebs who went with the combat boots just because spikes were cool when I was a kid, so if it had spikes and it had a red tinge, which it did, coolest thing ever.
Yeah, that's that, but rainbow boots for fashion.
Since I've stepped into Fashionscape, I've come to realize rainbow boots are indeed the better boot.
I mean, but this is all free to play. And I think the only real drawback, I mean, not so much a drawback, but you do need to have the authenticator and a bank pin to claim it.
I don't think you need the authenticator. You do need a bank pin. The authenticator is for the skull scepter that you can get. If you farm each level certain monsters, they give you skull pieces, and when you make the skull scepter, you can teleport to the dungeon entrance. And if you have the authenticator, you can get it imbued. And imbuing it doubles its charges, and it doesn't dissipate into dust when it runs out of charges. And you can use the skull pieces to recharge it. It's super nice, and honestly, what with account security nowadays and how easy it is for people to lose their accounts just for falling for simple scams, highly would recommend the authenticator.
Yeah, I have that. I don't think I have the bank pin just yet.
Come on, brother.
But I do have it on the Iron Man, because that one I feel is it's more cherished.
I could respect that.
But no, Stronghold, definitely a great place to get easy cash early game. Great place to just train overall. Definitely want to train at some Minotaurs, especially if you're going to do range. They drop a whole bunch of bronze and iron arrows. I think a handful of steel arrows, maybe.
But I know for second level, the famine level, those cave crawlers, those are great to train at because you can literally AFK. I remember you and I were sitting down there one
Flesh
time.
crawlers, yes. It's great to train. I think for pay to play, they have some better drops. Stacked ores, you get the herbs. Coins are meh, but the XP rate's up there. And like you said, easily AFKable. They are aggressive towards you.
No matter what, no matter how high a level you are, they're always going to be pissed off at you. But let's jump back into talking about Varrock. That's where we're starting off today. You finally graduated from Southern Misthalin. You're feeling comfy. You run up to the big city. What's the first thing that you want to do when you're there?
Well, depending on what I'm aiming for, there's always the Grand Exchange in the northwest part. Quest-wise, probably want to get some of the easier ones done first. When you think of easy quests in Varrock, what do you think of?
One always jumps out at me for sure, and that's Demon Slayer.
I was going to say Romeo and Juliet.
That is also a very good one. That one's just
easy. Just run around, talk to some people, free quest point.
No benefit from it other than the quest point. Super straightforward. It's not even a fetch quest. It's just go talk to this guy, go talk to that guy. Now go back and talk to this guy. You're basically just a carrier pigeon for two lovers.
Exactly. But like I said, it's easy. You sort of run around, familiarize yourself with the town a bit. But like you were saying, Demon Slayer, that's probably going to have more substance of what people would want.
It also gives you a good reward. The Silverlight, great for taking on demons. It has increased accuracy, increased damage, only for demons. Otherwise, it's pretty useless.
But for free-to-play demons, I mean, you do have a few areas where you could train on them. And it's always nice to have. Especially if you're going to do pay-to-play. Especially at lower levels, I feel the Silverlight would be beneficial.
I mean, demons are one of the best things to go up against for free-to-play just because they're drops. Greater demons, they can give you ruined med helms and a few other ruin items, which are phenomenal for high alching, or just even selling.
Throwback to the Wizard Tower, I would actually train my magic there as free-to-play. I did get myself a couple of nice rune drops, so I telegrabbed the rune med helm. Maybe I got the full helm. I'd have to double check on that drop. And I think a couple of kite shields, maybe mithril, rune possibly. Definitely decent drops. It's not often, but when they do come, they're worth it.
For Ironman, I think that's the only way you can really get a mithril kite shield.
Yeah, I think you need to have some of those luckier drops, for sure. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure I already mentioned, but I got the rune battle axe on my Iron Man. I think it was at the Ogress Warriors I did that. And it's the best item I have for pay-to-play. Or free-to-play, I should say. I'm sorry.
Just wait until your Iron Man gets into some Slayer tasks. You'll start seeing them drops way more frequently, brother.
That is the dream.
So, one of the other reasons why I really like Demon Slayer is it does have a few story elements that are great, at least contributing to the lore of the world. But it's one of the earliest quests that you can do at a lower level where you end up fighting a big baddie. You know, the big demon. It's kind of like your first boss, almost. I mean, it doesn't have the mechanics of, let's say, Obor or Byrofita or whatever the moss giant boss is, but it's like your first big boss, and it's a quest-related one, so it's fairly safe. I mean, you're not in an instanced area. If you die, I think it's easy to get your shit back. I would totally recommend getting that one done.
It's only level 27. Probably at level 20, 25, depending on your stats. It should be a breeze, especially if you have food. I mean, even probably some prayer could help. But hey, you get the 3 quest points and a Silverlight.
The quest points definitely... I mean, finding quests that give you more than 1 or 2 quest points are few and far in between. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting there doing baby quests that give you 1 quest point, when for future quests down the line, I think for Dragon Slayer you need 60 quest points total.
I'd have to double check. I know it's up there. You pretty much need to complete 75% of the free-to-play quests, I'd say, to even get there. The reason being, that's like an end free-to-play quest.
Very true. And you go up against a dragon, of all things.
Yeah. There are a few ways to cheese it, which admittedly so I did on the Iron Man, because I was just not having good luck.
I remember you telling me that you got close to dying a few times, and you're like, oh, I need more lobbies.
Yep. So I had to cheese that. There was a safe space, and you basically just flinch it, attack, run to the corner, wait a bit, run, attack, go back, just rinse and repeat. But with this Demon Slayer quest, you probably don't need to do that.
No,
it's so low level. You got the Silverlight, some food, and you're good to go.
Now, you were talking to me about another quest, a crucial quest that I forgot about that's in Varrock.
Yes, Shield of Arav. I'd say one of the, off the top of my head, pretty much one of the only co-op quests in the game.
One of the few. I think there's...
Very few.
Yeah, there's another one that requires you to partner up with the same person that was opposite of you for Shield of Arav. I think that was Hero's Quest.
Okay, yeah.
where more co-op comes into place instead of just the basic. You do this half, you do that half, and then come together. Rather, it's you guys have to meet up in Brimhaven, and one person who did. I can't remember the specifics, but one person's going to break into a building to open it up for the other player, and the other player will have to do something else.
I mean, yeah, Shield of Arav, same concept. Two players both have to infiltrate and join opposing gangs to get two halves of a shield. And that's the thing. If you have a buddy, it's so easy. Rather than you have to go to the bank and say, hey, I'm doing this quest. Anyone want to help? Or now, don't they have the, under the quest tabs, you could go and see who else is doing the same quest as you?
I believe Shield of Arav has an official world now on free-to-play where you can go to it and then a whole bunch of players will be in that long stretch of road building up to the Varrock central area. We had to do it the old G way, which is, which gang are you picking? Oh, I'm picking this one. Okay, I'll make sure to do this one. Just let me know when you need my help.
Yeah, I mean, even then it's simple. I think you just got to run around, look around a bit.
It's a nice, fast quest to do.
For sure. I think the only annoying part is you got to find the opposing gang, someone who has them.
Yeah, that's for all of the people out there who don't have friends going in. Just message one of us, and whichever gang you're a part of, we'll make sure we get the opposing side, and we can help you at it.
That we can do. Looking at the rewards again, one quest point, which sort of makes sense. It's nothing too difficult. I'd say just tedious. And then you get 600 coins, so that's pocket change.
Great for Ironman, though. Great starting cash, really.
Yeah. Low levels, especially Ironman, 600 will get you probably some upgraded gear, depending. General inventory stuff, maybe some food.
Restock on ruins.
Yes, all I would do is go to the rune crafter guy in Varrock and just spam by all the runes I needed. Mainly chaos. You could easily make your own air runes, fire runes. It's tedious, but...
That's the best way to go about it, really, right?
Probably for air runes early on, because I think once you get to like level 20 or something, you're already making 2 air runes per...
Or you could get a powered staff. Or not a powered staff, the elemental staves.
Yeah, the elemental battle staves.
Definitely would go actually with the element of what I would be combat casting, just because of how easy and cheap air runes are in comparison. I know it's only a couple coins off if you were to go to the GE or if you were to go to the ruin shop, but you can save pennies, and saving pennies over time, that adds up.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would always do. Fire Blast, just use the fire staff. Chaos is going to be the most expensive. But even then, air runes, if you're crafting them, you're going to get multiple per run. On the Grand Exchange, what are they, like 3 GP each?
Barely. I think they might be 2 right now.
2 or 3 each, as opposed to buying them from the rune guy, and how much were they, 5 each?
Probably. I mean, you could make money off of it technically if you buy from GE and sell to him. No, that doesn't sound right.
No, because eventually it's going to max out and he'll be giving you 1 or 0 per rune.
I was thinking of if you buy death ruins from him, then you can sell them on the GE and you can make money because they're cheaper if you buy from the ruin shop than if you were to buy from the Grand Exchange. I think I made a quick buck doing that one time just because I was desperate for like 10k and I didn't want to do any other method. That was way back before I even had high alking or any of my other opportunities to make quick cash. I was desperate if you couldn't tell.
I mean, for Ironman, that's pretty much one of your only options if you don't have the magic level yet. You got to sell the item to their dedicated shop. So when I was practicing smithing, that's what I would do. I'd smith in Varrock and then sell all the plate bodies to the plate body guy. And of course you have to world hop to maximize that coinage.
Just drops in price.
So annoying.
The worst part would be is other people would be doing it as well. So you would try and go hop to another world and it's like, okay, I just sold some here. Let's hop over here. Let's make some more coinage. And then you'll open up that trade and you'll see that somebody has already sold like the maximum amount before they start getting too much of a decrease in profit. I remember doing that for one of my Ironmen. I'm just like, I was getting so annoyed. It's like, I just want to make money, please.
Yeah, and I think the person was having the same idea as us. It's like, okay, we did 340, let's go to 341 and sell. Oh crap, they're already full. 342, oh crap, they're full. So then you just got to start jumping around trying to see what's open.
The despawn, like the more population, the faster the despawns or the respawns.
Yeah, I believe so.
So that was always a good bonus. And a lot of people wouldn't think to go to highly populated worlds. You got to try your luck sometimes, right?
Eventually you will get it. It's just a hassle.
But some other keynotes about Varrock. One that it always sticks out to me would be the Varrock Sewers. I would go there and do my magic training. Crumble Undead. It only costs Chaos, Earth, and I think Mind Ruins. It's super cheap and gives you great XP. The zombies didn't have too shabby of drops. I mean, they would drop some of the ruins that you could get back, but I would safe spot them from across the river and just constantly spam it for fast mage XP. It was a little bit more interesting than splashing. I never saw the attractiveness of AFK splashing just because, I want to play RuneScape, I want to get involved. Also, I have all these spells. Crumble Undead sounds like a cool spell. It hits pretty darn high on Undead. Who'd have thunk?
You know what? In the Varrock Sewers, what I would do, this is more for, I think, mid-levels or higher levels. If you run all the way through, you could eventually get to the Moss Giants. You get the big bone drops, more XP, they hit harder than Hill Giants as well. Definitely a nice go-to area.
They got rarer drops than Hill Giants as well, don't they?
They do have a couple of nice, decent drops. Probably like the Hill Giants, you could get the occasional good drop. But I think you still get like the decent amount of runes, depending. A lot more of the BS drops.
Nature Ruins, I just remembered. They're great for Nature Ruins.
I believe, yeah, you do get some of those drops. They're not as common as you'd like, but you do still get a decent amount.
I kind of have to correct myself from our last episode. The Alcaridian Guards, they're level 9, and they actually don't drop any black gear. But now that we're talking about Moss Giants, they drop black gear.
Yeah, I do remember getting a couple of black drops. I think the Kite Shield was one of them.
Full Helm, I do remember.
Full Helm. So you do get some gear, but it's nothing fancy. I think it's more just for the XP.
I mean, at that point, if you're even taking on Moss Giants, you probably don't need black gear anymore. Because they're level 40, and at that point, if you're combat level 40, unless you're waiting to do your defense levels, or if you're defense pure, maybe Adamant, maybe Ruin by the time you're there, or even Mithril if you're keeping your defense low.
I mean, like I was saying again, mainly for the XP. If you're going for drops, you're probably not focusing so much on the XP. Like for the Ogress Warriors, those are more so where I want the drops than the XP. Especially for range, you're not going to mow them down. And those have great rune drops.
Holy cow, I remember training magic there for a bit, and the amount of ruin equipment I was getting, and ruins actually. It was super nice. I'd get death ruins, chaos ruins, the ruin med helm, ruin battle axe, all great. I'd always bring my nature ruins, and they'd also drop nature ruins. I'd just high up that crap right then and there.
Yep.
Some quick pocket change.
Great monsters to train on. And we could get more into that a bit later, as that's coming up on the list of where to go.
That would actually be in...
Corsair Cove.
For Corsair Cove, it's definitely a quest worth doing just for the ogresses. But the more crucial part about Corsair's Cove, we already talked about it before, but Dragon Slayer. You need to get Dragon Slayer done to get the really awesome skills training area. It gives you access to lobbies / sorties. Gives you access to maple trees and yews, and another access point for the ogresses. Overall, really great. And if you're just going for ogresses, don't worry about Demon or Dragon Slayer. But if you want to really benefit from Corsair's Cove, get Dragon Slayer done, and you're going to unlock a whole bunch of shit.
First, you need to do Corsair's Curse, which, again, it's going to be a mid-tier quest, I feel. I think, really, you only need about level 30, 35 combat to go through it relatively unharmed.
I think the boss at the end of that is a magic user. So all you rangers out there, you're going to be sitting pretty with even just 20 range, taking them down, because you can tank all those attacks.
I think it's a bit more tedious running around, talking to everyone. But once you finish, it's well worth it. Because again, you get the Ogress Warriors. Great for magic training. Great for ranged. Probably at the more mid-level. Don't want to do it early on, because you will not be hitting them. I think they're level 80?
They're 80, yep, they're in their 80s.
Magic training, definitely going to be slapping them. Probably at around level 35. You could easily take them on.
The nicest part is you can safe spot them.
That's the only main reason why I recommend ranged and magic. One thing to be on the lookout, though, is the Ogress Shamans, as they will attack you, and they do slap. Or if you're safe spotting, you could easily just run to the back of the room, and they'll let you be. Recently, with the 70 range, using Protect from missiles, I was easily able to, go through with them. Even without it on, I was able to tank most of it. I think the main thing is they drop the special the special helmet, the big bone helmet.
Oh yeah, the shaman helmet.
That's the one thing I want. Once I get that, I'll focus on the warriors, and then those mages can be.
So I know we digressed a little bit off of Varrock, but the last place to really cover would be the Grand Exchange. That's where all your flippers are going to be. That's where all your high alkers are going to be. That's where all mass trading is done nowadays.
Yeah, the Grand Exchange is probably the go-to spot. Lumbridge, and then the Grand Exchange. Everyone starts at Lumbee, everyone teleports to Lumbee, and then everyone in masses to the Grand Exchange.
It's kind of sad to see the rest of Varrock pretty empty. Other than, maybe you'll find a good chunk of people using the anvil that's right across from the bank.
Yeah.
That's real fast for smithing.
Pre-GE days, yeah, that was nice to see everyone huddled in the banks or the central town plaza. Especially the East Bank. That used to be poppin'.
Oh, for Ruin Essence, back when Ruin Essence was actually worth something. It used to be worth 42 gold. I remember farming a whole bunch of Ruin Essence. That's how I used to make money, was just doing Ruin Essence. Now Ruin Essence is
2 GP per pure essence, and 10 or 8 GP for the regular essence.
And it's ironic, because pure essence is way better than regular essence. Because pure essence you can use for catalytic ruins.
Yeah, but I don't even know why regular essence is so much. Maybe for the free-to-play.
Yeah, because you can't mine it. You can't mine pure essence in free-to-play. They can only get regular essence.
Yeah.
And that's just for, essentially, the elemental ruins.
It would make more sense it was the other way around, but I guess because the pure is in such high demand, it's so low.
Well, not just that, but a lot of monsters drop pure essence nowadays. And a lot of bosses drop big amounts of pure essence. So if you ever needed to get some, you could just go bossing or monster slaying and get a whole chunk of potential ammunition right then and there.
One of the go-tos, especially for your medium to higher levels, Ankus, Ancows, however you pronounce them. Listen, they drop absolutely killer runes. You get some laws, a bunch of blood and death runes. They drop noted ore, mithril mainly, and they drop noted pure essence. On average, I think about 10 or 15 per.
The only thing is, though, for those ruin drops, you have to be a member. Unfortunate for all you free-to-plays, but if you're pay-to-play and you're not ready to do barrows, and cows, honestly, I would go down there with maybe 10 lobbies, and I'd walk away with 120 death ruins and around 70 to 80 blood ruins. It was really great to get some quick cash or quick ammunition.
I would be more so the full inventory of food, maybe minus 2 or 3, and then just do a full grind on. But especially for you members, Ancows are going to be worth it.
All right, so graduating from Varrock / Barbarian Village, literally right next to the Grand Exchange is Edgeville.
One easy way is to hop over the Wildy, just run west, hop back down, there's Edgeville, or just run west through Varrock, past the river, go straight north, and you got a nice little town of Edgeville.
Yeah, for all you pay-to-plays, there is actually a low-level shortcut in the Grand Exchange where you can just cross right through, go over a bridge, and boom, you're right in Edgeville. However, for you free-to-play, you're going to have to do a little bit more running. Edgeville is a great place to go. For smithing, especially, there is, in terms of the shortest amount of distance, a smelting furnace right next to a bank. And that's actually where I've been doing a lot of my crafting experience as of late. I've been making jade jewelry, and it's so fast. You just run there, run back, and once I'm getting ready to do actual smithing experience with gold bars, I'm just going to go straight to Edgeville. Way better than Al-Kharid. And the most crucial part of Edgeville, it's dungeon. Now this is going to be super important for all you free-to-play players. There is one item, I don't know if it's available on the Grand Exchange, but you can get it, it's just laying on the ground in Edgeville Dungeon.
I do believe you can get the rusty key.
Brass key.
The brass key. The brass key you can get on the Grand Exchange, I believe. What this does is it just makes the getting to the dungeon so much easier.
There's a little tiny empty hut straight west of the Cook's Guild, and technically closer to a bank in terms of running distance, and it gives you straight right into the Hill Giants.
That is where I mainly spent a bulk of my time getting prayer up for the big bones, just getting most of my attack stats up. Because honestly, Hill Giants, that is the go-to.
It is. Even for magic, there's a few safe spots. For range, there's a few safe spots. They drop big bones, which are awesome to bury. And I think they have relatively alright drops. I know they got some really good ruin drops. They drop
the mainly elemental runes a whole bunch.
Law runes, I think.
Sometimes law, sometimes I think chaos. But for the most part, you're going to get the big bones always. Limpworts, that used to be a good moneymaker back in the day.
Used to be like 2k per pop.
Even back in the day, everyone was training at Hill Giants for the bones. That was a go-to, still is a go-to free-to-play spot.
And within that same exact dungeon is the first boss on the list of bosses to go up against, and that's Obor, the Hill Giant boss. As you're killing Hill Giants, you get the Hill Giant key, and at the very end of that cavern is Obor's lair. We can get into bossing later, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that if you wanted to go up against the boss Obor, that's the place where you want to be for farming for keys.
The key farming, that's a nice addition. Easily is where I would stay from level 40s up to 60.
For free to play, oh yeah, best place to be.
You'd even get, slowly but surely get your prayer up, which is always needed, always helpful. And the drops are still on point.
Make a quick buck, even if you're just picking up the coins. I know sometimes I'd be down there for a really long amount of time and I'd just be picking up coins. I'd walk away with maybe 5 to potentially 10k with how long it stayed down there.
Definitely don't be expecting millions or anything significant, but you will walk away with some nice pocket change.
Good to spend on ammunition if you're a ranger or a magician.
Before we glance over it, for the members, there is the, what's his name?
Velkna?
Yes, he is a Slayer Master. If you go just north, I believe, into the dungeon, he will be there. I think it's recommended level 40. If you want to start Slayer, go speak with him. Probably want to start Slayer later on in the levels, just so you have more to kill. It's easier. But hey, that's your go-to. At least for me, just because it's right there, somewhere easily accessible. Easy tasks for the most part.
I was the silly boy who would always go to, I'm going to butcher this name, Mazinka, the green demon, or the red demon who wears adamant armor all the way over in Canifis. That's where I would go, because he was level 1, and I was a pussy wimp, and I wouldn't want to take on higher level Slayer challenges. Until now. Now I'm doing, oh my god, I can't remember her name, but she's all the way over in Kurend, and you have to go to a specific area and kill that specific monster, and there's a small chance they'll drop brimstone keys, which you can use to open a chest that has pretty good loot. Totally worth doing. It's just a bitch and a half to get to her unless you've started Fairy Tale 2 or have the contact NPC.
I'll have to look that up then.
I've already done, I think, 2 or 3 tasks from her. I've had a blast.
See, we're all learning something.
That's what this podcast is for, isn't it? It's educational. I know there's a few veterans out there, though, who might be listening in thinking, all this stuff is easy-peasy stuff.
There's just so much to do in RuneScape, it's hard to know everything. Helping everyone out. Like, say, we just started. What would we want to know? Familiarizing yourself with the areas, sort of the metas. You want to know at least what's better than what. Okay, what's more effective to get so and so loot or this money. We just want to help ease you in.
Kind of open the world up for you. Open your eyes to the possibilities. This is what's out there. You don't have to follow the meta if you're not doing PvP. It's just a good guideline to know what to stick close to.
Yes.
And that meta obviously will be changing with the upcoming equipment balance, but I'm actually kind of happy it's happening. I know a lot of people are getting upset because Toxic Blowpipe is getting absolutely shafted. It's an alright change. I know a lot of people are going to be pissed because it's been around for 6 years, but...
Haven't used it yet, but if people are saying how overpowered it is, then yeah, let's shake things up just a little.
I like a challenge. I know I don't main range, but even if they were to nerf some magic items, I'd be like, oh, I'm a little bummed out that this isn't really useful anymore, but
yeah, but even
I like a
now,
challenge.
It's like everything's meta. Even if you have a couple of lower level gears stuff, it doesn't match. There's no point in using it, so what's the point of even having it in the game?
Oh, that's, I think, the most crucial part of this balance is bringing back relevance to other items.
Like I said, I want to see people running around with maces again, or battle axes. Hell, even spears, or halberds.
That would be crazy. To see a spear being used effectively and efficiently again, I would be stoked. But moving back onto some areas for all you free-to-play players, we just a little bit to the southwest. You know, you're leaving Edgeville, going down through Barbarian Village, walking around this giant fence, and you find yourself in Falador, the White City.
Falador.
There's actually some historic lore for Falador. Do we all know about the massacre?
You see, at this point, it's more or less a meme. I feel most people who've played RuneScape for some time have heard about it, especially the older players. It's funny to even realize, when did it happen? 06?
Yep.
Just a bit before when we got into it or started. I'm just paraphrasing from what I know. There was a bug with the homes. You could own a home, and there was a boxing ring. So you'd equip like boxing gloves and start fighting. But the bug was, however Mod Ash described it on some other guy's podcast, it was a great podcast, by the way. 3 hours, pretty much unedited, of the one guy speaking with Mod Ash. And Mod Ash he just seems like a genuine nice guy. But he was explaining it. However the bug works is the player force exits everyone, but they're still wearing the boxing gloves. Because for whatever reason, some flag did not trigger. So what happens? They have the boxing gloves and they can still attack people, but people can't attack back. So what does this mad lad do? He goes to Falador and just starts decimating everyone. It was a massacre that no one wanted.
So many players dead. So much loot gained. That account, I think, was permabanned the minute that happened.
Yeah, once they got access, I think they just permabanned it.
Imagine the amount of power you would feel just being in Falador and you're just surrounded by hundreds of people and you're like, I can kill all of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And just start going around and slaying.
Well, just imagine, you're doing what you do in your MMO, high level, you're just chilling with your lads in your nice, expensive gear, talking about whatever, sitting in the middle of the square, and then some dude with boxing gloves comes up and you're thinking, wait, what? How the hell's he wearing that? What are those? And he just starts pounding people.
I think he was actually able to unequip the boxing gloves and put on his whip and his defender.
Really?
Yep. He was still flagged as being able to do PvP in non-PvP zones. So that's how he was actually killing people fast, because I don't think the boxing gloves have a lot of attack stat.
That's true. Yeah,
Still,
that's even wilder then.
It was nice, crazy history for Falador. Nowadays, Falador, at least for pay-to-play, is relatively dead. I never see really anyone there unless they're training magic, doing the teleports just around the main square.
Some people in the banks, of course. There's the mines, but even then I don't really see anyone there pay to play. Maybe a couple in the, what was it? That's not the Motherlode mine, but the mining guild.
Oh, actually, no, the Motherlode mine would be the only other content that's in Falador for pay to play that I will see a good chunk of people on.
Okay.
Because that's the best way to get ore real fast and the best way to get mining XP up until, I think, blast mining or mining over at Fossil Island,
Okay,
Lava
yeah.
Mine. That's one of the best places, but until then, Motherlode Mine is really top notch. Also for just getting the ores, really. But for free to play, Falador is fairly popular because of the mine.
The mine. I mean, yeah. Other than that, I don't think there's really much else there.
There is a really good, important quest for free to play do if they intend on becoming pay to play, and that is the Black Knight's Fortress. It's a quest where it requires you to infiltrate the Black Knight's Fortress, which is just straight straight north of Falador. It's fun. It adds a little bit of story to why the Black Knights are fighting the White Knights, and it is the prelude to getting your prayer equipment, as it is a required quest for recruitment drive, which is your foot in the door for getting good, strong prayer gear.
Recruitment drive. I've only done that on the Iron Man years ago. Probably two years ago now. I use the guide because I'm too lazy to even be bothered with it. It is worth it. I'm not too big on the prayer setups just yet. You have shown me its power, and it is very nice.
I'm here to enlighten you that prayer gear is the best PvE gear if you really just want to save money on food. All you gotta do is invest in some prayer pots, and you don't need food. Food is a thing of the past once you have some prayer pots.
So it probably would be cheaper to just use food, but if you're going against a high-level enemy that just slaps, just use some prayer. You won't even be scratched.
See, my favorite thing to use prayer gear for is Nightmare Zone. That's a pay-to-play thing, and you bring in a shiesta ton of prayer pots, buy a few overloads from the Daydreaming Man, and you just go in, make sure you have it set to rumble so you have like 4 enemies attacking you, put on melee prayer, make sure you selected the enemies that only use melee, and AFK. Just make sure you drink a prayer potion when your prayer starts running low, and you can get buku points, buku XP. I jumped so far up in attack XP just from doing that. I went from like 68 to 70 or 71.
Nice.
Just in one run. It was fun. And also I imbued my Seer's Ring, which was the main reason why I was doing it.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff I need to do, because I'm just focused on grinding out the levels, not so much all the fun extras.
Hey, we just talked earlier. I was doing barrows. Finally got to it. Totally worth doing, especially if you want to fund yourself, at least magic-wise, getting them ruins. And for you, the chance to get in Kirill's gear, which would be great.
Now, for those who don't know, I guess I would describe barrows as one of the early endgame goals. Because once you get the barrows equipment, you're basically at level 70s average. I've really never gotten to that point, even on RS3. And the whole point is, we've mastered that early and mid game. Early game, I know how to grind through, get the levels, get the stats I need. I know how to get the stock and inventory to supply myself. Mid game, easy. This is like our 4th, 5th time doing it. So we're experts. But this end game, this is uncharted territory for us. We have to experience the new metas, figure out what we need to do, how are we going to achieve that, how are we going to buy it. Barrows, maybe I'm over prepping, but I definitely want to try it with you sometime. Try and get the armor, because even if we don't get the lucky drops, we could still somehow make some money and work our way towards it.
Heck, just selling some of the Blood or Death ruins. Not all of them. Obviously for me, myself, because I need the ammunition, but just selling a small chunk of what I make can easily cover the cost of the prayer potions.
Now you see, this is why it's even more fun to play with friends or a small group. And again, only play with people you trust if you're going to be doing this, but all the rune drops I get, I'm giving it to our boy Ed. He needs the blood runes.
For that magic, boy! Still need to do Desert Treasure to unlock the Ancient Spellbook.
Yeah, some of these quests, you like to quest, but even then, that quest is going to be a bit off-putting.
Not ready for it, mentally. I think in-game I'm technically ready for it, I'm just not ready to do that much dedicated questing. Digressions aside, Falador, for free-to-play, mining is the hugest thing there. You go down to the Dwarven Mine, you get basically your coal, your adamant, and there's even a few mithril there that are pretty good to do.
Well, you need, what, level 60 mining to get into the guild?
60 mining to get into the guild. Yep.
So, early game, you still have the coal, iron. Don't they have a couple of other low level, like
They do have copper and tin.
But they do have a couple mithril.
2
I
adamant.
think, yeah, it is a bit quicker to the bank. You just got to run up and down some stairs compared to Alcarid. But Alcarid, I will give this, they do have that furnace. So if you want to maximize, you can just get the ore, run to the furnace, and then bank it.
It's a little bit more, not difficult, but
Time-consuming.
Time-consuming in Falador, just because the furnace is way further away from the bank, and you have to pass the bank to get to the furnace.
But even like you said, there's better furnace to bank options, so you could just bank it and then run back. That's what I would mainly do, because I'd focus on iron and then coal. If I'm trying to maximize all these steel bars, why would I try and focus on both when I could just do one, grind that out, switch coals?
Actually, the Dwarven mine here, there is one notable part in that mine, and it's 2 iron ore for all the power levelers. You just kind of sit in between the 2 iron ore, and you just click each one as they respawn, and you drop the ore. I think that's one of the fastest ways to level up your mining in
Power
free-to-play.
leveling, yeah. Honestly, when I think power leveling, I always think of the same 3 bots fighting over the 3 nodes in Alcarid. I would know, because that would be the best place. Especially for me, if I'm banking everything. If I see someone's there, I'm just going to world hop to it. Or if I want to be that dick, I'll just go there because it's a level 3 guy. In RuneLight, I can look up their levels. It's not always the accurate, but it's like, oh, level 30? I have level 60 mining. Let me just overtake this chump.
Oh my goodness.
Only if it's a bot, though. Only if it's a bot.
In Falador, I would always be adamant about taking over the coal area. I would, no matter who would show up or who was there, I'd be like, nah, I'm here. I'm taking your coal. That was the most unfortunate thing about mining in old school, is that mining nodes are competitive. It's not like trees where everyone can share it. It's not like fishing where everyone can share it. For mining nodes, there's only one ore, and it goes to whoever can mine it first. And it takes into fact your mining level and what pickaxe you're using. And I would always compete my heart out for that spot because it had like 4 or 5 coal ore so close together. And if I was there first, I would be so attentive. If I was trying to AFK, watch a show, and the minute I see someone show up, I'd be like, pause the show. I need to get this guy out of here by showing him I mean business. This is my coal. I'm here first. Although I would respect that somebody was there before me. I would kind of intrude, but I wouldn't take all of it. I'd like mine 2 of the ore and say, we can share. You can have those 2. I'll have these 2. But if someone came on me, I don't share.
Yeah, if there was multiple people, maybe because I'm too nice, I think I would just stick to the 1 node. Maybe find a different node. But it's either be nice or world hop. But again, like in Darkscape, no respect for bots.
None.
Kick them off their ore. You take it. That is yours. Do not give in to the bot farmers.
No.
No one likes it when they steal all the ore, when they steal all the resources and crash the economy.
Why do you think maple logs are only like 10 a pop?
Because the bots. Was it confirmed Venezuelan bots?
I'm not sure about for the maple. Bots nonetheless crash the maple logs.
It was nice for fletching XP, but oh god. I don't want to just be getting willows to sell. I want to get some profit.
I mean, you got used, but there's no, other than Corsair's Cove, there's no efficient way to get used.
Woodcutters Guild now?
You are completely correct. I have completely forgotten about Woodcutters, the Woodcutting Guild, just because
I have to look up the level, but I know it's in Corend.
It's 60 to get in.
60? Nice. I could do that then.
They got buku crazy trees there. They got easily attainable magic trees. They got the redwoods, which are level 90 but give the best XP. For myself, other than using woodcutting to boost your fletching, I never really saw a point to it, much like the fire making skill.
For free to play, you can easily make some money just selling the logs.
True. I mean,
It's an easy AFKable skill. Like I was saying, in Camelot, just to the west in Sears Village. That is the go-to for me.
Maples?
Maples. I think they have a few willows, maybe.
They have yews. I don't know about the willows.
It would be a pretty decent 99 to have, just to flex. I mean, yeah, it's wood cutting. What are you going to do? Chop down a bunch of yews?
Come at me, bro.
Exactly. Listen, if it weren't for the maple bots, definitely would have been way more profitable. Especially if you're doing fletching, like you said. Just get everything in-house and just maximize profit.
I mean, that's the nicest thing to do for yourself in general, is make everything in-house.
I'm too lazy, though, to do in-house bowstrings.
Oh, God. Flax. Just collecting flax and then making bowstring out of flax just seems so painful.
How many full inventories would you need? So there's about, let's make it easy, 4 in 100, so you need 40 full inventories just to get 1,000. A bit less, but still. About 40. And then you need about 40 full inventories of the trees.
The trees aren't as bad. It's the getting that flax. That just... Because the closest run for flax would be...
Sears Village, I think, is one of them. Tree Gnome Village, it's going to be a lot more of a run. But I think there's a lot more flax. As usual, we are digressing a bit. Isn't that what you came here for? Just random bullshitting?
Hardcore casuals.
Hardcore casuals. Everything's interrelated.
I mean, everything we bring up, it's always tied to one point. I mean, we were talking about Falador, and all of a sudden we got onto a tangent about trees. Because we were talking about mining, and how mining was competitive, and how nodes for mining is, a little bit more tedious, and then that brought into woodcutting. Oh, it's not as bad.
Yeah, it's not as competitive. If anything, everyone gets along, makes some nice small chat. The only other thing I could think of for Falador, I'm pretty sure it's dead still, the party room. Drop parties. Those were always fun. You see people having the train, just, everyone follow me to Fally, drop party in 10. I'd never be lucky with that. You'd look into the loot box and people, these mad rich lads are dropping in like a whole bunch of trimmed rune armor, a whole bunch of cash, a whole bunch of runes.
Barrow's armor, sometimes you even get the dragon armor. They'd be giving out just like crazy amounts of shit. I say we got to do it at some point.
We have to bring back some of the traditions.
Bring back what used to make RuneScape so iconic. Just all these small, intricate things that just added to the game.
You know what? Maybe we should add this to the end or in the middle, but I guess 2 questions I would have for the listeners is, what do you want us to cover? What, if anything, when you were a new player, what would be something you would want to know first starting out to help you? Like now you're level 70, 50. What would you want to be told early game to help you out? And of course, the third, would you want to join a drop party? And if so, what would you be donating? What would you be putting into the drop box to help out?
I think I would put in some classic gold trimmed stuff.
Some gold trim? Nice.
Yep.
I would probably do a whole bunch of food, some feathers. Feathers are always nice. Maybe I'd get the dragon med helm just to throw in. A nice gift.
But if we're doing it on free-to-play, we got to keep ourselves free-to-play limited on items.
Free-to-play, a whole bunch of raw lobsters, raw swordfish, a whole bunch of feathers, bronze trimmed.
Ooh, bronze trimmed. I'd be hoping to get that.
Dude, bronze trim is the best. You had the perfect fashion scape with the bronze trim.
I do. I'm very proud of it.
Dude, I loved it when we played Castle Wars with that and you were still, like, putting up a fight.
It's like, my defense is high, but I can't hit you. Come at me, bro. We gotta do some Castle Wars later.
We do. We have to get back into the mini games a bit.
I want to get some of that Castle Wars mage armor just for the hat. The hat's pretty cool. They got cool range armor.
It would take forever for us to get that, but it would be so worth it.
And then for all you listeners, let us know if you want to join in on any mini games. Like, let us know what your interests are in the game, if you want any help with it, or if you want us to try and bring back something and accrue a small group of people to partake in or to participate with.
Yeah, once we get a community going, once we get a small dedicated following, we definitely have to start getting more organized things going. Some organized skilling nights, mini games, questing maybe.
And I guess that's good for our plugin, or our self-plugin. You can follow us at Welcome to Lumbridge. That's our Twitter, at WLumbridge. We have an Instagram, which is Welcome to Lumbridge, and you can follow us on YouTube or subscribe at Welcome to Lumbridge.
You ever do that? Watch a YouTube video, and he does the self-plugin, or she does it, and you see all their handles, and like every other one is different?
Yeah, that's annoying.
It's like, okay, I mean... I'm sure they had that one first, and then they changed it up for YouTube or
just because somebody else stole it right underneath their nose.
Yeah.
But we lucked out because Welcome to Lumbridge is very original content. Don't mean to brag, don't mean to boast, but I got some hummus for this mini toast.
Ayo!
So kind of like way off topic, or not even off topic, just talking about RuneScape and some of the AFKing shows that you like to watch on the side.
Going through the history, I know with the Iron Man account, I think it was a year ago, I would watch Parks and Rec while just doing mining or smithing, doing everything AFKable on the Iron Man just because it was that tedious. Watch the entire series. I would also just watch a bunch of YouTube videos, a couple of the podcasts, something more an hour longer that, compilation videos. Sometimes I'll watch some movies, don't really remember what, but mainly just anything on Netflix.
I gotta appreciate all that. How about me?
I mean, I know the OG one, Malcolm in the Middle.
That was the classic before I even took RuneScape seriously. Way back in the early 2000s. Be sitting downstairs with my dad. He'd be watching Malcolm in the Middle. Seinfeld was one of them. I think there was another show on TBS around that time that he'd always be watching that I'd watch with him. I can remember the most recently, about a year ago, right when I was done taking my break from RuneScape, right when I got back in, I was watching Letterkenny while working on RuneScape. That was a good one.
Finish that. That is a good one.
I remember the last episode I left off on, and I haven't touched. Red card, yellow card. That was a good one. Just recently, you showed me how great Mike Tyson Mysteries is, and I'm loving that one.
Like you said, it's a gem. It's a hidden gem.
I think the fact that the episodes are so short and just chock full of comedic content is the best part. And just listening to Mike Tyson just be Mike Tyson is my favorite thing about the show.
It is mixed with nice written humor and just stupid humor. And everyone knows stupid humor is the best humor.
And then the other thing I would watch, or more so listen to, is I would have my window pulled up and I'd have Oni Plays in the background while I'm grinding out something that's tedious and just be watching them play games or listening. Not related to RuneScape, but when I used to play AQ Worlds several years ago, I would actually be listening to the official podcast. But yeah, no, nowadays it's Mike Tyson Mysteries and rewatching Rick and Morty. And every so often I get Malcolm in the Middle going on if I'm feeling classy, if I'm feeling classic. But that's what I got. And for all you viewers out there, post, comment, tag us and whatever, and just let us know what you typically binge watch while you grind out shit.
I mean, there's really nothing else you really can do. You can't just focus on it and I guess meditate on everything you've done in your life. But that's no fun. You want to just zone out on some TV show. Click on an or every now and then.
Best time to AFK and watch a show is fletching. When you're getting the unfinished bows. That just is my favorite thing to do AFK.
Yeah. Crafting the bows, that's one thing, but stringing them? Yeah, no, I can't really AFK. It's just too intensive.
It's totally worth the money, though. I mean, I remember putting in about $400K for all the string and maybe like $100K for the maple logs, and I walked away with like 1.2 mil. I was like, oh shit, totally worth the grind. Kind of.
How long did that take you? About an hour? Hour and a half?
No, that was like 10,000 logs. That
10,000? Yeah, that would take you like at least 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours over the span of 2 days, because my attention span to do something like that is highly limited. It was great for a car ride, though. My family and I, we went to go look at some Christmas lights, and it was like about hour-long car ride just to get to the place. So I just had my phone open and was just cutting all my logs into the unfinished bows while we were all playing car games.
See, that's the one nice thing with the mobile app now. You could just easily do a whole bunch of this AFK stuff on the phone. Hell, even at work, I would just train at the rock crabs or sand crabs. Easily AFKable. They don't really drop anything, so there's no need to worry about loot and no need to worry about health.
You just gotta re-aggro every so often.
Yeah, but even then you just run to the edge of the screen and run back.
Fast and easy.
I guess before we do end off, do you have any other nice grindy spots for our listeners? We already mentioned, I think, episode 1, cows and chickens. That's a great spot. Goblins are okay for early level.
A little bit more obscure, I guess, was... Well, shit, we already covered the Stronghold of Security, so never mind.
The Minotaurs, that's always a nice spot.
Flesh crawlers. Honestly, I can't think of anything that we haven't mentioned that I have
Especially
yet to do.
if you want to min-max, yeah, those are the go-tos. I guess at the end of the day, as long as you're having fun, you're not, risking anything really, most anything's going to be worth it.
I would always change it up what I was training on. I remember for a good chunk of time, right when I got back into RuneScape, before this long experience that you and I have been going through, I remember what I last left off on, and it was the Elemental Wizards just south of Falador. And I was only grinding them out because they dropped ruins, which are nice, but I was getting them killed for their talismans, so I could sell fire talismans, because those were worth like 3k.
Okay.
But that's what I was doing. Super easy. I just was wearing dragon hide armor, had a scimitar, and was just mowing them down. You covered everything else.
Yeah, those are the big ones. Probably going to stick with them because they work.
What I would say then is switch it up. Maybe don't go to one of the big metas. Find something else to kill, something that's unique, something that's different. Keep it fresh. That's where I kind of lack the meta, is when it comes to training combat skills. I don't go to where it's most ideal. I go to you know what I feel like killing today? I feel like killing something that's different than what I normally kill. I'm going to go use Crumble Undead just for a bit of time. I'm going to go kill Ancows with Crumble Undead, even though it makes more sense to fight them with melee. I like to change it up just because there's all these enemies out there, and I want to go at them with different forms of combat. Like right now, I'm kind of thinking, what do I want to go and kill with ranged? I could go to sand crabs and grind it out there, but I'm thinking, nah, maybe I'll go and do some dark wizards, get some beginner clue scrolls, and do some of that alongside training my ranged.
I like it.
So I guess that concludes episode 3. We're well on our way.
Episode 3. Nice. Do we have any ideas of next episodes? Or are we going to keep that a secret?
I think we can give them a hint. We'll talk about skilling a little bit. I know we always briefly cover it, but I think we can talk about skills and some of the ones that are really nice to focus on.
Okay. Some nice advantageous skills. Definitely going to need them for some quests. Maybe cover some money makers.
Oh, for sure.
Then I guess some of the more screw this type of skill,
You already know it's going to be ruin crafting.
And farming.
And farming.
Farming is a bitch and a half, but it could be helpful.
It's tedious.
Because of its tedious late game, I'm not going to touch it.
We'll leave it there for now. Have a good one, Ken Boy.
Have a good one, Ed. And as always, thank you for listening.
And we'll see you back in Lumbridge.